Okay, it's August 24th, 2021. Tell me who you are.
I'm Paul Bingham. I'm a day old. I was born yesterday,
what what day is your birthday?
August 23rd, 1941,
Ooh, and where were you born?
in Ogden, Utah, at the D Hospital.
And do you remember did you know who the doctor was that delivered you?
It probably was Dr. Draper, but I don't remember because
Dr. Draper? Because
I,
you don't remember because you were just being born.
right.
And what was your mother's name?
Leon Christensen Bingham.
And did she have a middle name other than Christensen?
No.
It was just Leon Christensen.
Yeah.
What were her parents' names?
Eva Manning Christensen and Orson Bond Christensen.
And were they from Utah?
Yeah, lived in Hooper.
Okay. And did they move to Hooper from somewhere?
No, they'd always lived there.
Okay. And what was your dad's name?
Wayne Aldous Bingham.
And and what were his parents' names?
Martha Victoria Bingham,
Erickson.
Erickson
Yep.
Bingham, and Edwin Aldous Bingham.
Okay. Now, how many siblings did your mother have?
Let's see, Vera and Irene and Orson and Edna. I think that's all.
And did they all live in Hooper?
Well, at that time when I was born, yeah, they did, but shortly thereafter they all got married
Okay.
and moved away. But they were the ones that called Davy, and Paul. Davy and Paul were their favorite. And they took pictures of Davy and Paul every way from Sunday.
Oh wow. So your older brother was Davy,
Yeah.
but what was his full name?
David Wayne
Oh,
Bingham
okay. And so you were born in where?
in,
Ogden
in Ogden, Utah,
in 1941.
right?
And where did you guys live when you were born?
In Hooper. We lived in Hooper at about a block from Clicks Higley's place.
Clicks. Whose nickname was Clicks, but his
And there
real
was a
name was.
two-room house on a piece of ground that my grandma Christensen owned, just across the field from her barn and her home.
And so were they farmers?
Yes, they were.
What kind of farm did they have?
They had wheat and alfalfa, and they fed cows, and pretty much it was kind of like a ranch almost, but not a lot of acreage.
And that was your mother's family.
Yeah.
And so what about your dad's family? Were they from Hooper too?
No, they were from Wilson Lane, and Edwin Aldous had a home in Wilson Lane, and he had a farm also. And Dad was there when he was the oldest one to get married of his sisters. And you're going to ask me his sister's names, then I'm going to take some time thinking about
But
it.
that's okay because tell us how many there were.
Well, let's see.
There
There
were
was,
two. His dad had gotten married before.
yeah, Dad was married to Martha when his first wife died. And Martha was from Sweden, so therefore her name is Martha Eriksson, Sweden. Martha Victoria Eriksson from Sweden. And then Dad's sisters were Irene, excuse me, no, not Irene. It was, oh,
It was. I know there was Ange.
those are the earlier
Okay.
sisters. And I can't remember any of their
Yeah,
names
that's
right
okay.
now.
I can't remember what they are either, but we can always go look that up.
Dad had one brother, Glenn, and Mrs. This too hard to remember
Yeah,
right now.
we can look in the family history for all that.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
actually I'm actually more interested in hearing what it was like when you were little. So you were born in 41. You guys lived in Hooper.
Yeah.
And so your dad
My
was a farmer, your mom was also
yeah,
a farmer.
my earliest memories was age 2 and 3, and my mother used to shoot rats out of the wood pile,
Oh my gosh.
and with her 22. And Dave and I both learned how to shoot that gun very early. And in fact, Dave could shoot it at age 6 or 5. Um, we lived there, and then Dad got drafted into the Second World War. He was had 3 kids, but everybody was being drafted at that time. And I remember when he left, but I can't remember it clearly. But boy, could I remember when he came home.
Yeah.
His duffel bag and the smell of the duffel bag full of stuff that he'd picked up in Germany.
Can you remember the smell in your mind?
Yeah, I think so.
What does it smell? Do you remember what it smells like?
Musty, dirty smell of. He had a camera that it wasn't a camera; it was a flashlight, but it would flash red and blue, and that was his truck light
Oh.
that he used on his truck because he traveled delivering ammunition to the Battle of Bulge.
Oh wow.
And they would drive at night without headlights, and that was the only light that he had to follow. He also had, let's see, what did he have? Well, he had all kinds of stuff. It was mainly the stink of his clothes, and what was funny. The funniest part was his garments were 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 the same color as the uniform, and so that was because they can't have white, because they'll be seen, and he had everything Army colors. That was the thing I remember the most about it. But he came home, and we stayed in that home for another year, and then he got an opportunity to rent J.C. Hooper's farm, which was up the road a piece, about a mile up the road on the way to Roy. And it was on the right-hand side, and that's where they built the late church house that's there now. But that was a place where Dave and I really had a lot of fun growing up. I learned how to drive a tractor. I bought a 1947 Ford N 9N tractor, and Bob even he learned at age 4 to drive the tractor. We had corn and alfalfa, and I remember the granary had a lock on it, and in the wintertime Dave dared me to lick it, and I licked the frozen lock, and my tongue stuck to it, and I couldn't get it off. Dave and I had lots of fun driving an old, I think it was about a 37 Ford truck or car, and we could drive it all over the place. And we also had a truck that we used to haul hay, and we'd drive that, and I would push on the gas feed, and Dave would run the wheel, and we could drive that around the place too. We had one of the most interesting things that we used to do when we were kids is that road was just a road leading into Hooper. And on the side of the road, we would find old golds on Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning there would be a pack of old golds or a pack of camels along the side of the road. And it was the kids from Hooper that were going to town on Saturday night. And when they're on their way home, they threw the cigarettes out the door, out the window, so their parents wouldn't find out they'd been smoking in Ogden. Well, Dave and I got those cigarettes, and we took them and hid them in the barn. And then we'd go down the corn rows and hide and smoke. We start, and then we invited all the other kids in the neighborhood to come and smoke with Dave and I. And of course, Dave never stopped. He smoked his entire life until he became bishop, and I'm not sure he stopped then. he was quite a guy. He taught me how to drink beer when I was 15. He was the best big brother one could ask for.
Okay, stop.